Anyway, I have bad news, things that I don't want to cover right now, but the United States Department of Education, currently overseen by Trump, also Asmodeus Abel, hi, welcome to the stream, thank you for the follow. Donald Trump's Department of Education is currently in the process of attacking a women's university for letting trans women in. So, we're going to take a look at that. Let's take a look at that right now. The U.S. Department of Education opened an investigation Monday into Smith College, an all-women's institution in Massachusetts, for admitting trans women. Said the probe by the department's Office of Civil Rights will look at whether the college violated Title IX, a 1972 law, forbidding discrimination based on sex in education. The move is the latest by the Trump administration, whose rhetoric has frequently included attacks on trans people to limit trans rights in the United States. Yeah, you know, whenever somebody goes, oh, what rights are trans people losing? My guy, it's right there. The administration has said that that Title IX prevents trans women from participating in women's sports, suing several states, and launching investigations into schools for not complying. Smith College, a private liberal arts school founded in 1871, has admitted trans women since 2015, along with many other elite women's colleges. The school's admission policies drew attention and sparked on-campus activism in 2013 when a trans high school senior was denied acceptance because her gender identity didn't match the one on her financial aid forms. Its website now says that any participants who self-identify as women, cis, trans, and non-binary women are eligible to apply to the school. Advocates have supported the shift over the years, saying that women's colleges were founded to educate those who are marginalized because of their gender. Yeah, there are few people as marginalized for their gender than the people who identify more with the idea of a gender than people who are cis. But that's what it means to be a minority group. Like, that's just how it is. It's not that cis women aren't oppressed. It's that right now the administration is hitting both of them. But the hammer's a wee bit bigger when it comes to trans women and trans men by extension. But I say by extension because everybody seems to forget that trans men exist every single time. They're just kind of non-factors in a lot of these conversations. Because, like, if a trans man finds himself in the bathroom, nobody freaks the fuck out. If a trans woman finds herself in the bathroom, people freak out, and then they find out it's a cis woman who just happened to have PCOS. Like, it's weird. It's weird. This culture hurts everybody, and yet we continue to perpetuate it. The number of women's colleges in the United States has declined from more than 200 to just 30 as of fall 2023. A college spokesperson did not immediately respond to an emailed request for comment. According to the Department of Education, in a new release, Title IX contains an exception that allows colleges to be all male or all female, but it only applies on the basis of biological sex difference, not subjective gender identity. Right. Fuck you. So it's really cool that the Department of Education, as it is called, is unwilling to educate themselves on gender and how it works. And if you find that, hey, what if one weirdo gets in? Okay, cool. What if one weirdo gets in? One weirdo gets in and there's a classroom of 20 women. They've all got tasers and pepper spray. The weirdo gets beat. Maybe his pacemaker goes away. And now suddenly there's not a problem anymore. Boom. I'm sorry, but the what if one weirdo gets in who's not actually a trans woman, I don't give a shit. I can't give a shit. The likelihood of that happening is not zero. But it's never not zero. Or it's never zero. It's never ever zero. So didn't Trump say everybody is born female anyway? Technically, but no. You have to remember, words being used and being used stupidly doesn't necessarily mean that people didn't mean something else. So why should I worry about one creep? That's the thing, like, the likelihood of one creep existing is always going to be there, whether it's male or female. So why throw trans women under the bus and then say it's because you might be a pedophile, you might be a rapist? Like, that's thought crime functionally. That's pre-crime. The investigation into Smith College stems from a complaint filed with the Office of Civil Rights in June 2025 by the conservative legal group Defending Education. DE and its members oppose, among other things, discrimination on the basis of sex in America's K-12 schools and institutions in higher education. During the Biden administration, new Title IX regulations were issued to prevent discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity. However, those were struck down by a federal judge in January of 2025, who decided the rules had legal shortcomings. Okay, said even testing for hormone levels doesn't work. Already been instances of cis women testing too high to compete in some sports. Yep, we've had that happen. Jet says there's a much higher likelihood that there's some trans men in those schools. Yeah, like, okay, what happens? I'm just curious. Conservatives, what happens when a cis woman in one of those schools realizes that they're trans, realizes they're a dude, and now suddenly, you know, this is the person who you are saying should be allowed to, like, this is your person. This is your female who's being allowed in the school that you're worried about. This is your female. It's wild to me. By the way, that's Jamie Wilson. For anybody who's wondering, that's Jamie Wilson, a trans man. Said pre-crime, not to be confused with pre-cum. And says, it's wild to me because, like, it feels like the only way to come out on the wrong way of on the wrong side of this issue is only to just not be educated on the issue. Just don't be educated on the issue, and then suddenly you will find yourself in a really, really, really shitty situation in terms of knowing what the fuck you're talking about. But if you do a little bit of research into trans issues, you suddenly come out the other end going, oh, right, maybe the position I have is shit. Yenza says, cis society likes to paint everything, isn't so nuanced. It's this way, and you're an imbecile for even questioning it. Yeah, people are uncurious. People are largely uncurious, and that is a frustrating reality to deal with. People being completely incurious and inflexible. And I know it's eventually going to happen to me. One day, I'm going to get old enough to be a crotchety old man that doesn't actually bend when I should, and I'm going to become canceled when that happens. But fuck it, we'll party till then. Colleges are being fucked up by the Trump admin. Water's also wet. News at 11. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitt, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.